Can everybody hear me? Yes. So, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. And so today I'm going to present this umbrella project that I've been working or I've been involved with for 4 years now. As I've been affiliated to USN only for 1 year now, so this comes with the fact that these projects it goes a little in the what do you say, på tvärs, how you say that in English, in the between, across different institutions, and in particular it was initiated at the Inland University of Applied Sciences in collaboration with the Department of Public Health and Sports Sciences and the School of Gaming Development. But of course then continued and developed further, and then when I started working here it continued further, and it had some kind of ramifications, among which a PhD project that is based here at USN and also has reached different collaborators both at USN but also internationally. And I should mention, of course, that this is a project that is placed into the field of the health sciences, and especially in the health promotion perspectives, as I will explain more later. I would also mention that this project has received fundings in different stages, both from the Regional Research Fund of Inland Norway, and most recently also was involved into a larger project funded by the EU in the Horizon 2020 program. So, and again, just to mention something about the project and the fact that it has been going on for several years, we have produced different publications. We have been invited to also as a team to produce some chapters in 2 rootlet books, and we have different works in progress. So hopefully we will publish soon more, and it's an umbrella project and it's continue going on. And before I go a little more in details about the project itself, I probably should give some heads up, some definitions about some central terms. First of all, immersive virtual nature. I guess by now most of the people present in this room have an idea what immersive technology is, immersive virtual technology is, and this comes in different forms. In the particular form I've been working with is the classic VR masks. And when we talk about immersive virtual nature, we talk about immersive technology that provide the illusion of being enclosed in a natural environment, and a technology that provides the feelings of being in contact with nature. And when we talk instead about virtual green exercise, that's a combination of the first term, immersive virtual nature, with physical activity. So we talk about the possibility of doing some movement while being exposed to immersive virtual nature. So one step back, first of all, why nature? Why virtual nature, but also why nature? And as again, this is a study that is primarily interested in health effects, health promotion. In the past 30 something years, scientific evidence has demonstrated the salutogenic or like health enhancing effects of being in contact with nature, both through direct effects such as, for example, increase D vitamin through the sun exposure, but also psychological benefits of seeing nature, interacting with nature, okay? But also some indirect effects. So, for example, natural environments or living close to a forest may enhance people's physical activity, and this in turn leads to improved health. So there are many ways nature is good for us, but recent study also has suggested some sort of guidelines of a minimum time, at least 2 hours a week should be spent in contact with nature. But maybe in Norway we are lucky and we have very good access to nature, and many people can have these 2 hours of contact with nature, but not everybody can have contact with nature on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. So we have a challenge here already. So virtual nature, and many different platforms already exist to access nature virtually, both gaming platforms, but also social medias, including YouTube. If you have, for example, an Oculus Go or an Oculus Quest, you can go on YouTube and plug yourself into some 360 videos of nature, or download apps that put you into these immersive virtual environments and give you a nature break. But of course, the next question is virtual nature as good as the real thing? Do we get the same benefits? And long story short, there is accumulating evidence, scientific evidence again, showing that, virtual nature may not be as good as the real thing. After all, we don't have everything we can get out in nature when we use VR. We don't get the fresh air, we don't get the sun, but we still can get some benefits, especially the psychological benefits, the benefits on the mood or stress relieving effects can still be present. And this has a number of applications in the health sector, but also beyond that. And many studies been already done in this field, showing, for example, that virtual nature can provide or can be a very good strategy to relieve pain in patients, but also may provide increase the quality of life of elderly living in nursing home, may provide access also to nature during work times, like some sort of nature micro breaks during work, and etc. And you may see in this picture, most of these exposures to immersive virtual nature are sedentary. And as it was mentioned, my interest is in physical activity and health. So with my colleagues, we have been working on developing and studying a new concept, a concept that combines both the physical activity and immersive virtual nature. And I know many of you probably may argue, well, but this is not new because there are already in virtual reality installations that allow you moving in this space, like, for example, the Oculus Rift and this with the sensor. But I should specify that this is not exactly the same, because here we're talking about health enhancing physical activity, or like some sort of physical activity that can increase, for example, your heartbeat and lead to these beneficial effects of physical activity that health institutions talk about. So this has different applications, potential applications. I mentioned here just a couple, like exercise interventions, but also physical rehabilitations. But there are probably many more outside the health sector, like the fitness industry or the gaming industry, or like the intersection of these two, the so-called exergaming industry. And also the idea of putting together movement with immersive virtual nature is rooted on the rationale that the movement may increase the feelings of being into the virtual world, like the so-called presence that was described also before very well. But at the same time, this comes with challenges, and such as, for example, the challenges of combining the movements of the virtual avatar with the movement of the real person, but also increased risk for cyber sickness, so this feeling dizzy or unwell while being exposed to the virtual world, especially because of greater movement may cause greater, like the peripheral vision of the movement may lead to these increased feelings of disorientation and dizziness. So these are challenges that need to be worked around or addressed, and that's why we have been conducting a series of tests. And of course, we were also interested to understand to what extent experiences in our GreenVR installation may lead to similar psychophysiological effects as those experienced in real nature, because this is kind of the point of this technology after all. So we have conducted a series of studies, and all of these studies we have reproduced a real environment, which is a walking route by the river Glomma in Evero, and we reproduced it virtually in our installation. And we measured a number of things that maybe I shouldn't go too much into details, but you can ask about it if you're interested after. I don't know how much time I have left, but I can maybe just quickly mention 4 minutes, just very shortly say some characteristics of the various studies. For example, in one of the studies, which was the first, we compared the GreenVR installation with an experience in the real place. So that was meant to see, okay, how much do we get the same psychological and physical effects out of this? And also we compared how it is walking control, for example, simply sitting. And in another study instead, we addressed some challenges we found in the first studies, especially related to the development of the virtual world. In one video, for example, we had some oscillation associated with the walking pattern. Okay, in another video instead, we had a more flowing type of scenario, and we look at how this impacted cyber sickness, for example. And then in a later study that is still in progress now, we have compared 2 different ways of developing these virtual nature scenarios. In one was developed, for example, using a 360 camera, so a 360 video, while in the other setting was developed using 3D modeling techniques, so it was digitally produced. And also we used a high-end type of virtual reality technology. And anyway, we conducted different studies and measurements, and we have learned a number of lessons all together. And first of all, surprise, surprise, cyber sickness is a drag. Cyber sickness is a very big challenge and may dramatically impact the experience, so much so that it may take away from the benefits of the exposure to the virtual nature. So all the positive psychological benefits you may expect go down just because people feel sick and they simply don't want to be exposed to the virtual reality. However, we found some strategies to reduce this. And first of all, we found that, for example, by using, of course, technology keeps developing, and using new gadgets and new techniques also to create videos that have minimal oscillation in the scenarios impacts very much the experience and reduce very much the feelings of cyber sickness. Other challenges we found was the motion lag, and also especially in the 360 video creation, the poor resolution. We found this take away pretty much from the experience, especially from the experience of nature, like something that participants may feel lacking in this contact. The 3D modeling approach addressed some of these challenges, but at the same time comes with other challenges, because then some participants may feel this looks too artificial, it's not real nature as well. In all the studies, despite we were successful in improving the overall experience, and participants felt immersed in the virtual world, and we managed to actually reduce pretty much the risk of cyber sickness. Yet we could not replicate, or we could not find similar health output similar to those that we would expect in nature. So far there is still more to do if we want to actually use this technology to give access to nature to people who can't. At the same time, we found some encouraging findings when it comes to using virtual green exercise as a way to promote actual green exercise, so that people may try green exercise virtually and then have some positive psychological feedbacks and then become interested in trying in real life, and also some feelings of increased connectedness with the natural world. So this is also an interesting indirect health outcome. Yes. Anyway, as always, more research is needed, and this field of research is still relatively young. So we keep working on and build on of this lesson learned, and literature is becoming more and more rich of findings. It's definitely interesting to look at more factors that may influence the experience, among which, for example, the visual status, which we never included in our studies, but we will do in future studies. And just a little mention to future steps. This is we are working on creating a new installation for the European project I mentioned before, and this will be launched in Drammen and in Hamar in next year, next September. And also will be part of an international tour. We have a PhD student that will collaborate in this project, and that will also conduct further research in this direction, in this field. Thanks for your attention.